Hi everybody, this is Will Bowen with today's Jumpstart. You know, some of my favorite stories are corporate stories, corporations that had unusual beginnings. And some of my favorites include the story of a pie company that made these delicious pies, and everybody loved their pies. And their sales kept going up, 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 up. And what they noticed was that on beautiful spring days, people were buying their pies and taking them out and having picnics with friends and family. And it was just growing and growing until they finally realized that the reason the people were buying the pies was not that they loved the pies, but they loved the way the tin plate was made. This was back then, and actually it was made out of like a heavy, like polymer plastic that they put the pies in for people to take, the plate. And people were actually gobbling down the pies, or in some cases not even eating them, and using the plate to throw as a spinning disc. The name of the pie company was the Frisbee Pie Company. Now, they could have just freaked out. What is wrong with our pies? And let's get a focus group and figure out why people aren't eating the pies, or why, But instead they went, wait a minute, we're in the wrong business. We are in the toy manufacturer business. And Frisbee continues to be a $100 million company year after year after year. Another company was called Kleenex, or still continues, of course, to be called Kleenex. Kleenex originally was designed not as something you'd blow your nose on. Kleenex was designed as a makeup wipe remover for women, so they didn't have to use like a rag or a towel and keep washing it rather, because makeup really, dirties up a towel. So they came up with it, and then they discovered to their horror that people were blowing their noses on this makeup wipe. And again, what did they do? Did they go, the people are wrong? No, they repurposed. And that's what we're going to jumpstart today, repurposing. Today, what can we repurpose in your life? I've discovered a number of things that I can repurpose. Number one, the time that I sit to write these things, I no longer sit. I have a treadmill underneath a standing desk. The whole thing cost me about $600 or $700, but it allows me to walk. I've been walking on average 5 miles a day, and as a result of that, I have lost 13 pounds in a couple of months over the holidays now, okay? So I repurpose my time there. Another thing I do sometimes is when I'm meditating, I will also do a restorative yoga pose while I am meditating. I'll set the clock, instead of for 20 minutes, I'll set it for 5, and I'll get in 4 restorative poses while I'm simultaneously meditating. One of the things that I highly recommend to people, especially if you have to walk to get in your car after work, use that time as a mindfulness walk. Now, what is a mindfulness walk? Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk, described mindfulness walking as kissing the ground with your feet. Don't you love that? Kissing the ground with your feet. The idea behind a mindfulness walk is you literally don't, if you're walking from your office to your car, you don't think about anything in your office. You don't think about anything that you're going to do when you get home. Just for that time, you experience the walk. What does the ground feel like beneath your feet? What does the air smell like? What sounds can you hear? What sounds can you hear close and at a distance? What are you seeing? Don't begin to label, and don't begin to analyze. Don't begin to say, I smell burgers, I'd like to have a burger. Only be present to what is present. Repurpose the walk to the car. Take a look at your life. I'm not talking about multitasking. Well, I guess I am somewhat. But I'm talking about taking something you existingly need to do and using it as a time that you can increase your life, make your life better. Another thing that I do is I literally always have a book running on my phone that I'm listening to. And I can listen to some huge books. I'm listening to a book right now that's 22 and a half hours. I've listened to 2 previously that total close to 60. But I finish them in a matter of weeks because they're literally running all the time. Take a look at your life. What can you repurpose? What can you make more of? What can you get rid of? And what can you combine? I think you'll be surprised. See what you figure out. Enjoy today. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.